segments that we're gonna get on, but I think it's gonna spark some interest for people to really think about and want to really comment on definitely how they may feel about this.
Yeah.
So actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and give it to my boy Ace because he said something that really people really need to think about that they really don't think about, especially in the society now and the way things are. So I'm gonna let my boy Ace go ahead, man. Do your thing. Let's get into it.
All right, my segment is about this. Why do people put so much emphasis on fashion and clothing having to do with the success that you have? You know, because, you know, me and my man JTL, we've had many conversations about how, you know, especially with the younger generation, they think just because somebody got some Jordans on, you know, they really rolling in dough. And, you know, that's not what the real money is. You know, just because someone got some Jordans on, that don't mean that they're a success. You know what I mean? And actually have what you think they have. You know, because I'm going to give you an example. I used to know this guy that I was going to college with, and, you know, me and him, we were cool for a little bit, and he was an older guy than me, and his parents, you know, had money, and he had money as well, but, you know, he didn't dress in all the latest fashions and things like that, you know, because he had other things on his mind. This young man was actually thinking about investing in the stock market and things like that. He used to talk to me about that, but I used to hear, you know, girls making comments about, oh, that dude shabby, that dude a bum, and little did they know that, you know, at that point, he already had, you know, his bachelor's degree. He was just working on a couple of other classes, and the dude drove a Benz. You know what I mean? But they're like, oh, he ain't nothing. I'm like, yo, if only you knew what this dude really had. And he wasn't focusing on trying to make himself look good. He was thinking about the future. He was thinking about his stock portfolio and putting money away for the future, because you never know what can happen. So that's something, you know, that you young people need to think about. Instead of always trying to rush out and trying to buy this latest fashions and worry about who look good and who don't.
Even though
you know what I'm saying?
Dent in your pocket.
Exactly. You're going to put a huge dent in your pocket, and then when bills time run around, what's going to happen?
Exactly. Like, also with the organization that I work with, I see a lot of the kids that do the same thing. I had to actually have a conversation with some of the kids because they're worrying about the fashion and everything that you wear. Even though, granted, I had on a nice shirt, you know, some of the kids want to crack jokes. It's cool, you know, that's where we come from, you know, the little joking thing, the little jokey joke. It's cool. But the kid actually asked me why I didn't wear Aeropostale. And I said, I just didn't want to wear it. And he was like, oh, you can't afford it, man. I'm looking like, hold up.
Aeropostale does not cost that much.
Exactly. Aeropostale does not cost that much. So just because you might hear a rapper say that they wear it, all of a sudden it's so expensive.
No.
Like, that, to me, that doesn't make sense to try to keep up with so many trends and fashions just to look cool to somebody else.
Exactly.
But that's what seems to always happen. And it's sad because a lot of people are that way where they're not concerned about their future. They're more concerned about looking nice here and now.
Going to the club and all that.
Going to the club, trying to look fly for some girl or some boy or something of that nature. And not really thinking about the fact that that money that you just spent, now you have to wait a little while to get it back. Especially for kids, they have to wait until their parents gives it back to them.
Exactly.
That what makes it even more sad. Exactly. So I'm thinking to myself, I really got to make sure I raise my son right. So with that being said, I know that I'm trying to do better things for my future, and I try to tell that to other kids and stuff like that nature. And if you see how much the money is rising for these clothes and things of that nature, it trips me out. You know what I mean? Like Jordan and Nike being the main factors of selling the most for shoes is concerned. They said Nike did like 900 billion and Jordan did 800 billion. In all actuality, that's still, million, I'm sorry. And in all actuality, that's still going all the way into Nike's pocket. That goes into Nike's pocket. When Sean John sells what he sells, that goes into Diddy's pocket. When Rockaware sells what it sells, that goes into Jay-Z's pocket. Not y'all's pocket who are spending all this money on them.
Exactly.
Especially with cars, rims, and things of that nature. So when are we going to start doing things for our future, what we need to do to go ahead and survive?
Exactly, because you're not going to be young forever, and you got to think about your future. You know what I mean? I actually, you know, from a personal level, even more personal, used to date a young lady who, you know, she would get that paycheck, go spend it on getting the nails done, getting the hair done, going out buying all these outfits, going to the club, having fun, and then 2 weeks later, when the light bill is due, looking at me, and I'm like, I don't know what that handout for. You must want me to give you some dap or something. You know what I mean?
Dap for what? Messing up her money?
You messed up that own money.
Oh man, it's really sad. But the main thing of the focus that we need to start having is trying to better our futures and things of that nature. Also, it seems that they believe that, especially within the black community, that happens the most.
Definitely.
It seems that the black community is one of the communities that's still at the lowest rate of being very more well successful than any other culture, community, or whatever you want to call it.
And investing their money.
Of course, if you have, and we're not gonna say just like white. We're gonna say Italian, or we're gonna say Jewish, or we're gonna say Asian,
or Hispanic.
Even the Hispanic community. For as black people are concerned, it seems that we're always at the bottom of the totem pole. You know what I mean? We don't have everything together like we should. And it's always because of financial situations. We worry about the wrong type of things. Like when people start getting money, they worry about going out and buy a new car, a new chain. And I know a lot of you people out there seeing the same thing. They go out there and worry about buying the wrong things. Nobody worries about going to get a nice house, keeping equity in that house.
Exactly.
Nobody worries about putting money away for the kids.
Do y'all even know what the word equity means?
Well, go ahead and elaborate for them, man. Let them know what equity means.
Nah, that's a little bit too much. We only got a little bit of time.
Nah, you can just give them a real quick.
But you know what else? You know what else I'm gonna get on? Since we speaking about equity and future and things like that, you know, even in my life right now, you know, my fiance, she has a uncle who is a lawyer, you know. Got a $2 million house, got the Escalade and all that, you know what I'm saying? But when you see him, he look like a regular old dude, so you would never even know that this dude had all that money. You know why? Because his focus is on other things. You know what I mean? He's focused on his family, putting money away for his children's college fund, putting the money away for his retirement. You know what I'm saying? Putting money away for that big house. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay homeowners insurance, so that's what he's worried about. You know, and as young people, we need to get that mindset early. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of stuff that we wasting money on that we could be putting that money in the bank, and by the time we are 30, 40 years old, we'll have a lot of money saved up. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Like you said, back to the original point of the segment was basically about changing your whole appearance just because of your financial status. And I'm wondering, do a lot of people believe that it's okay to do that just because your money has increased, or are you doing that because of your business status? I think that's a bigger difference that people got to realize. When you go to work, if you work at a nice office company, you know, you work in the office or things of that nature, then yeah, you definitely should dress for success. You definitely should be, when you're in the office, you dress professionally, talk professional and everything. But when you're outside of the office, does it really make sense to still spend a lot of money on your clothes just to show what you do business-wise?
Exactly.
That's just like, I know ever since I've been going to church since I was younger, a lot of people that were preachers, even though they may not have dressed like preachers all the time, it was just something about them that you can tell they was a preacher because they treated with people respect, and you know, and they carry themselves with respect and dignity. That's the main thing people need to focus on. A lot of times people don't focus on that right there. You know what I mean? So I think it depends. If you're doing something because of business-wise, I can understand. If you're going somewhere where it's a business function, yeah, definitely. But to kind of be like uppity and stuff like that, you got a lot of people that do that. They try to be more uppity just because, you know, they might got a little more money in their banking account. They try to be more uppity when they could focus that money on something else. And a lot of times we don't have that.
And you got to remember, the clothes don't make the man makes the clothes. Remember that.
Yeah, some people gotta actually learn what that means. Okay, so on that segment, y'all go ahead and give y'all comment. What do you think about changing your appearance because of your financial status?
Yep.
Please go ahead and blog and comment on that. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get on to the next one. This next one, I had a couple different ideas, but I was wondering, I'm thinking since we're so close to the next holiday, we're like right here, right at it, I gotta ask this question. Why is it that even though Martin Luther King Jr. stood for and what he died for, especially within the black community, is it that people still act the fool, even on that day?
Exactly.
Even on Martin Luther King's day, where he had a dream, and even though he wasn't here to see it, and he said that in that speech, that I may not get there with you, or we may not get there in the next 10 years, 20 years, but we will get there. And we were fortunate to get there. But it's like people still do not care. It's like people still act the way they want to act. People still act ignorant. People still don't want to stand for something that's righteous. They rather stand for everything that's going on in the hood. They rather stand for being obnoxious. They want to treat people disrespectfully towards each other. So,
you know what it's come to? It's come to now to the point where people just looking at it as, oh man, I got a day off from work. I ain't got to go to work. But it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. This is a day to honor a man who went on marches for us, who went out in front of all these white people, even though he knew they hated him, were throwing rocks at him, calling him names. He still went out there because he wanted us in the future to have a brighter day. You know, we need to quit looking at it as it's just a day off. We can go chill with our homies. We really need to think about what the man was saying and what he was doing. You know, because actually this year with the corporation I work for, they actually don't even acknowledge it. I don't have that day off. You know what I mean? And I'm just upset, not from the fact that I have to work that day. I'm upset because of the respect. You know, I believe that we need to respect that man and respect everything that he went through for us.
Yeah, and in here, St. Petersburg, Florida, where we're stationed at, they have the parade every year on the 17th, the day after his birthday, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, you have so many people coming together for the floats, putting together floats, different organizations, and they're showing love and respect from it. But then you have the knuckleheads that come out and will fight sometimes during the parade. I've actually seen fights break out where they're in the parade, in the midst of the parade. I've seen floats have to stop while the police break up fights, mace people and stuff like that. And it's sad because to me that's still kind of setting us back in a certain instance. And I know a lot of people that say, okay, well, that's them, that's not me. But you got to understand, us as black people, that's you.
We have to stand together.
That's just like back in the day when your family told you not to go out somewhere and share secrets of the family, not to go out and make the family look bad, have disgrace and all that stuff. That's pretty much the same thing. We're a family. That goes back into the whole community thing. That's what it is. Regardless of what you do, like when you do something to make us look good, like make yourself look good, it makes the family look good. It makes the community look good. When you do something that makes yourself look bad, it makes the family look bad. It makes the community look bad.
Exactly.
And that's the same thing I've been seeing for my whole 26 years on the face of this earth, is that every time Martin Luther King Day comes around, there's people still fighting, there's people getting killed, people still getting arrested. When Martin Luther King got arrested, he got arrested for something he believed in that was right.
And you know what? On that, it's people who actually make it their purpose before they even go to the parade to do something. I've heard people sit and premeditate, oh, when I see this person at the parade, it's on. I'm going upside their head. It's like they're actually planning on making a scene. That makes zero sense to me. None.
Definitely. Like I know a couple of cats that do the same thing. You know, that's why I kind of had to back away from them a little bit, because I can't see myself going out there in that fashion and carrying myself in that manner. I just can't see it. But I've seen the same thing. I've heard the same thing with somebody, oh, we're looking for this person, this is going to happen. I had actually a couple of friends that got incarcerated behind their actions and will never see the light of day. And now they're sitting there regretting it. But you have a lot of other people that know what the consequences are going to be, but they're so indulged in that lifestyle, they're so immersed in it that they don't worry about what they're going to do. They don't worry about what's the consequences being locked up. They don't even worry about that. And to me, that's very sad, even though Martin Luther King did what he did for us, and not saying put him in the sense as a savior, but on this earth, God put him here to help out with a situation, and you got to be strong. You got to be built strong.